Rayclast offers you something else. An education in true savagery.
Hello, It Fights Back here. In this video, I'm going to go over the Domination League mechanic. Released alongside the 1.0 expansion of Path of Exile on October 23, 2013, was the Domination League, which introduced shrines into the game, stating in the patch notes, a variety of powerful shrines now spawn throughout Rayclast, surrounded by large groups of monsters that are influenced by their power. These monsters receive substantial bonuses or are protected by their shrine's effects in some way. If you are able to tag the shrine, you receive these powers for a short time. It's often very risky to run in and try to claim the shrine, but it is a gamble that can pay off. There are currently 13 different shrines that can be found in Rayclast, and I will go over each of them. Shrines can spawn randomly in any zone from the very beginning of the game onward, or 3 may be added to an in-game map by selecting Domination from the map device. Enemies affected by a shrine will have a golden aura at their feet. Once you have cleared away the monsters protecting the shrine, or ran in and taken it from beneath their noses, you will receive the benefit the shrine provides for 45 seconds. There are 2 shrines that have damaging effects, the first of which is the Freezing Shrine. The Freezing Shrine emits pulses of an ice nova that will damage you when you are near it, but not the enemies surrounding it. In addition, it also leaves chilled ground in the area the ice nova reaches, slowing your action speed. When you take the shrine, the ice novas will begin pulsing centered around your character, damaging enemies and creating chilled ground at that location, which does not affect you. The chilled ground created by the Freezing Shrine may slow enemies' attacks enough to keep you alive. The damage cannot be scaled in any way, even if your character has spec'd into large amounts of cold damage. The other damaging shrine is the Lightning Shrine, which pulses a damaging shock nova in a ring around the shrine, leaving behind shocked ground in the area it reaches. Very close to the center of the shrine is a dead zone, where no damage is dealt. When you take the shrine, the shock novas begin pulsating from your character, similar to the Freezing Shrine. However, in this case you will leave behind patches of shocked ground, which will cause enemies to take increased damage. This can be very handy in encounters with difficult enemies for an extra boost to your effective damage. Similar to the Freezing Shrine, the damage of the Lightning Shrine is not scaled in any way. However, both are more effective damage sources early in the game. Next are a group of shrines that will boost various stats of characters or enemies. First is the Massive Shrine, which provides bonuses to maximum life, area of effect, and character size. This shrine is one of the very few ways in the game to change the size of your character, which is a fun perk, but this shrine gives a substantial boost to your life pool for its duration. If your character uses any sort of area of effect skill, it will also make that area larger. Provided you can take it from the enemies with increased life that guard it, this shrine is a solid boost to both survivability and AoE clearing. Up next is the Brutal Shrine. This shrine provides enemies with increased damage, and all hits they land will cause a knockback with increased stun duration. When taken, you inherit the increased damage and knockback on hit. This will slightly push enemies away from you when you hit them. Due to the knockback on hit, sometimes this shrine may be a little bit more difficult to approach, as every time you get close, an enemy's hit knocks you further away. The more times you or your enemies hit in rapid succession, the more knockbacks that will occur. The Replenishing Shrine provides some very strong defensive benefits, giving you a sizable percentage of your maximum life and mana regenerated per second, as well as refilling every flask you have equipped to full charges. Opening your character screen, default key is C, and selecting the Defense tab, you can see the massive increases to life and mana regen the shrine gives. This shrine can without a doubt keep your character alive in some very sticky situations, and make the mana cost of your skills feel like nothing at all. The Impenetrable Shrine gives 100% increases to all of the core defense types, armor, evasion rating, and energy shield. Upon selecting the shrine, you will gain increases to all 3 regardless of which your character is specializing in. The 100% increased armor, evasion rating, and energy shield values stack in addition to any increases to those stats you may already have on your character's passive tree. It does not double those defenses. To be honest, this shrine is kind of boring compared to the others. However, it It is always satisfying to see the energy shield graphic protecting your life grow larger upon getting one of these shrines. No matter what, you can't say no to some increased defenses. Next is a very powerful defensive shrine, the Resistance Shrine. When you take a Resistance Shrine, you gain 50% increased fire, cold, and lightning resistance. It will also raise your maximum elemental resistances by 10%. There are very few easy ways in Path of Exile to increase your maximum resistances beyond the starting 75%. To put into perspective how powerful this is, if you have 75% elemental resistance, increasing it to 85% will reduce the effective elemental damage taken by 40%. Getting one of these shrines may entice you to rush towards a boss you know does a large amount of elemental damage, making the encounter much less dangerous. A final note, if you are using an item that sets your maximum resistances to a specific value, such as the Loreweave unique, the Resistance Shrine will not raise your maximum resistances beyond that value. So there is a downside to Loreweave. The next two shrines provide supplementary benefits rather than boosts to your stats. The Shrouded Shrine is engulfed by a dark cloud that blinds your character while you are in it, significantly lowering your accuracy and chance to hit enemies. A debuff indicating you are blinded shows up in the top left of your screen. When you take a Shrouded Shrine, you will leave a trail of blinding dust behind you as your character moves. Enemies caught in this blinding cloud will have their chance to hit significantly lowered. The cloud will disappear rather quickly, removing the effect, so if you wish to keep the enemies blinded, you must keep moving. Spellcasters do not rely on accuracy in order for the spell to hit enemies, so if you're using a spell, you will be unaffected by the Shrouded Shrine's blinding cloud. The same goes for enemies that use spells as well. Even if you blind them, they will still be able to hit you. The Skeletal Shrine will continuously spawn skeletons when you are nearby. If you do not quickly take the shrine, you will have to keep fighting wave after wave of skeletons. The skeletons spawned by this shrine do not provide experience gains, so you will usually want to take it as quickly as possible. Once you are empowered by the Skeletal Shrine, you will automatically summon skeletons on top of nearby enemies. Only a maximum of 16 friendly skeletons can be spawned at once. At this point, the oldest skeletons will be replaced by any newly spawned skeletons. The skeletons can provide a nice defensive buffer to protect your character, as most of the enemies will begin attacking them. Friendly skeletons do benefit from any auras that your character is using as well. The next shrines are my favorite to find throughout my adventures in Rayclast. The Acceleration Shrine provides a boost to character action speed as well as projectile speed. Action speed is the time it takes for your character to perform an action, so effectively, your attack, cast, and movement speed are doubled while under the effect of this shrine. It is incredibly fun to clear through an area at the insane speeds provided by the Acceleration Shrine. The only downside to the shrine is that your mana recovery is unchanged by the shrine. So if you do not have an effective way of recouping your mana, you could run into problems. The movement speed bonus alone can provide significant benefits such as mindlessly running through traps in the labyrinth. The Diamond Shrine is another very powerful shrine for many characters. This shrine causes all hits dealt by your character to be critical strikes. If you are playing a crit-based character, this is incredibly powerful as all of your damage output will be increased by your critical strike multiplier, as well as guaranteeing that you will freeze, shock, or ignite enemies provided you deal their respective damage type. For spellcasters using the Elemental Overload notable on the passive tree, you will not benefit from the critical strike multiplier, but every hit you do will proc Elemental Overload, giving you the damage bonus it provides. The only way you will not benefit from the Diamond Shrine is if you are using the Resolute technique notable on the passive tree, which states that your hits can't be evaded, but you never deal critical strikes. The final two shrines are very rare to find and can only be found in later areas of the game. The Echoing Shrine grants you 100% more attack and cast speed, and every skill you use is repeated an additional time. This even includes movement skills, which will activate again after using them, sometimes sending you in a random direction. It does not appear that instant skills are affected by the Echoing Shrine, but your damage potential while affected by it goes through the roof. The only downsides being wonky movement if you rely on a movement skill to get around, and similarly to the Acceleration Shrine, your mana recovery is unchanged. The repetition of your skill does not cost additional mana, but you do receive a very large attack and cast speed buff as well. The final shrine, the Divine Shrine, can be the most dangerous shrine to stumble across. This shrine causes enemies affected by it to be unable to take damage. This can make getting it very risky, but will grant you 45 seconds of immortality if you are able to get it. The safest way to deal with a divine shrine is to get a distance away from it, luring enemies out of the range of the shrine, then picking them off from safety before going back and claiming it for yourself. The divine shrine is the only guaranteed way in the game to be completely unaffected by any damage. Again, the divine shrine and echoing shrines are extremely rare, so finding one can be quite a treat provided you know how to handle them. That wraps up the explanation of the Domination League and shrines that it brought with it. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something. Be sure to subscribe for more Path of Exile content, and thanks for watching.